Well, good morning, guys. This is a very happy day for the Indian chess. All the three Indian chess players who are playing in the candidates tournament at this point are leading the board with 1, 2, and 3 places respectively. The first place and the third place are joint leading by both Gukesh, and then we have Vidit, and the second spot is really going to Pragyananda. And the point is, all the Indian players are very underestimated in this tournament, and these guys have been banging moves every time. And the point with the Indian players is they are almost in winning positions in most of their games, and then they are making it a draw and they're losing the winning games. That's the irony. If they wouldn't have done that, they would have been dominating that chart by a very mile. And let's check. And the people who are favorites are really struggling hard in this tournament. But let's see the interesting game again with Kashish Hikaru Nakamura for the second time in this tournament with a brilliant attack, and this time with the white pieces, last time with the black pieces, and the both games were so beautiful to watch and a treat to watch. Let's watch. So Vidit goes with the e4. Basically, he tries this, but in this tournament, he is trying a lot on e4, and then Hikaru responded with the e5, and now Vidit goes to knight f3. The idea is to just open up the pieces in the opening and create such an advantage, and then we have knight c6. All right, and then the classic Italian opening is just about attacking this king pawn most of the time by creating a combinations that makes this pawn vulnerable, and most of the players under 1700 or something so usually fall for these traps. And then Hikaru responded with this, and if you're not a really master of how to play this, it's very tough. You have to use the engine and just check it out how exactly the counter play is happening. And then right now we have the pawn is being pushed, and this is from the d3. So the idea is to create the counterplay for the bishop, and the opponent has to check how exactly we have to move the counterplay for the bishop. And right now we have the pawn push at this point, and the idea for the pushing of the pawn is to just prevent this attack from the bishop from this diagonal, so that it does not create a lot of momentum on the white's board. And when we just check it out, Vidit has used this pawn which is called a c3 pawn, and the reality is just to protect your bishop from certain types of attacks, so that the bishop is a very good sniper sitting on here and just attacking the pawn. All right, and in this time, Hikaru just tried to open his bishop to just win this knight, and then try to restrict with its game momentum and whatsoever. But now with it castles, all right, Hikaru did not use the pin. Hikaru goes for aggressive attack, and these types of attacks are usually done by Judith Polgar in her early days of the chess. When you study her games in the earlier times, you find that Vidita's Judith is usually attacking opponent with these types of mysterious moves, completely mind blowing of the opponent. And then Vidit said, "Okay, you're gonna attack this. I have seen this game so many times. It's not a big issue." Vidit is trying to help the knight with the knight, and then trying to save your bishop. If something comes to bishop, for instance, let us say some attack, this is still protecting this part, and this is gonna cover certain key squares in this tournament. All right. So now, our Hikaru says, "Okay, it's okay. You guys are saying that. I'm just gonna push my bishop here. The reason is to really give a good construction to its pieces and build development. All right. The opening is always focused on development and very key attacks on a certain types of case, so that you really progress the game to a certain great extent. And now with it, who had already studied the game wants to go back and just protect him. And basically, people usually push the pawn so that they want to get a hold on the bishop, but with it says, nah, not today, and with it just move this. Alright, in the game with it just move this, and then with it move this, and Hikaru castles. Alright, Hikaru said, okay, let's meet castle. Until now, the game has not been very great advantage to any of the players. Each players played to their own key strengths, and now Vidit says this. Usually, the engine has recommended this, but Vidit was trying his new variations. Usually, grandmasters, when they come to prep, they prep for 14-15 lines in a different variations, and then they start using their brain very strong. And Vidit has till now has really used a lot of his time. He has used more time than Hikaru. Hikaru was like playing like as if he was playing some blitz or rapid tournament. Alright, now Hikaru tries to get in, into one of the major type of attack. If Vidit has fallen it or not, let's check it out. So he tried to push the planets to just attack or just push the pawns in the center and just make the board unstable. But Vidit said, okay, I want to push my rook here. If there are any center attacks, I want to have advantage with the rook. So Vidit has just gone to center. And right now we have the Hikaru taking his rook out. Alright, he wants also saying that, well, I'm ready to take you on head on. Maybe if the calculations happen, for instance, let's say pawn push, you kill it, it will kill with the knight. And if you try to kill this with this or this, we have two protections, but you have this third one which is sneakily gonna chop this off. So let's check what happens on the board. So right now with it says it's okay. I'm gonna just not let you pin my pieces or have you any advantage over me. What happens if you just have a pawn push? It is very bad idea, but most amateurs do this. Some amateurs, yeah. So let us say what exactly Hikaru tried to make stability on the board. Before you attack, you want to connect your pieces in such a way that minor pieces are really protected in a very strong way and major pieces are also protected in a very strong way. So queen just moves forward and then the bishop is taken here. I think Vidit studied a lot in this position and it's a very really good position to have. And then we have knight jumping onto backside of the queen and look at the protection each piece have. For instance, let us say how queen is protected. This. Wow, it's good. Till now the game was really good counterplay. We yeah, it was a very good counterplay. And then now Vidit goes here. Vidit was and the idea of the Vidit, we will know he might have studied the positions where pawn push might happen because that's how the tempo moves forward or a certain way how it happens. Now Hikaru tries to bring it up. Alright. And the reason is this cannot be taken point number one. This is always there. But even if you push this, that's a very worse move because it's gonna eat and there is a lot of counterattacks to play. And it just solidifying your right now place. And they have solidified, guys. It's not at all a big deal. They just did a solidifying step. And at this point, we have bishop backwards, and the only reason for putting the bishop backward is to get a hold of it with the rook. Rook can catch bishop if bishop catches a bishop, and that's it. All right. So the key is not to move rook from here so that bishop loses its tempo. And now we have knight going to here. The reason is idea is to really push the pawns on this part. Now when it comes to the masterpiece, which is a discovery attack on the bishop and also a very good defense to if any pawn push happen on this spot, which is knight to e3. When you just check the position, knight to e3 is played, and then now we have a very good discovery attacks on bishops at the same time defending this. This was a very smart move. And then we have attack of bishops. Both bishops are exchanged on the board. So he attacked on the bishop. Let us take it back. And the idea is to attack. Then the idea is to have this diagonal without any attacks. So that he can... Now he goes backward. So trying to push the pawns from here. Kill. Knight kills. Kills. Queen is going to be here. And it is a very good counterplay. Now Vidit has just moved a pawn front upward. And the idea of the Vidit is simple. Vidit wants to create a play in the center of the board and wants to dominate the center of the board. Now Hikaru takes the pawn and then Vidit takes with the pawn. Alright, the exchanges happen. It's good. And now Hikaru moves a move that is this, which is called d5. And the idea of moving a d5 is to really not letting any piece to forward towards the Hikaru's board. Alright, not to progress towards it. Now with this blocking the bishop ideas, so anything, the only way you can relieve this squares is to just use this as a bait, but then there may be a lot of hidden attacks. You can beat this, you can keep this, and you can use this to kill any different pieces or whatever. There's a lot of counterplays. And then Hikaru, after a thought, goes here. Now when you see the game starting, it was like Vidit was overthinking, Hikaru was underthinking, but now both are thinking in a very parallel manner. The idea is to create a counterplay here and just give a subtle attacks to queen using his pawns forward. And then now Vidit plays, okay, you want to attack this way, I'm gonna push this. This is already a good stability with this. It can be brought here or here in time of attack anytime. And you don't have any bishop threats because these were blocked by these two mega pawns, and this is a really good position with it. At the same time, it is not any bad position of Hikaru at the same time. Both are playing very interesting and great chess. Now the attacks happen. The reason for attacks to happen is to really unstabilize this part where this is really blocking the bishop, and then these parts can literally attack, and the part is good. Do you think if the rook here goes here, nothing will defend? No, guys, because it is being defended by this, so don't worry. Now we have kills. So there's a captures on the board, and there's a puzzled inaccuracy. NG4 was the best. So Indian suggests that no, this should have happened. Inaccuracy. This was a wrong move by Hikaru. So on the move 21st, Hikaru gave a slightly edge to Vidit. The Indian says you should have bought it here and just continue with the more tempo. But this was what happens if you move this. Then you're gonna check and then position is losing. You have more counterplays to play. But he attacks it because he thought, for instance, let us say, if he doesn't hit it or he tries other move, it's gonna hit and it's gonna lose. If we imagine he goes here or somewhere, it's a very losing position because he's gonna hit. It's not just gonna hit, it's gonna hit this and it's gonna hit this, and it's a very horrible position for white. But that's not what it played in the tournament, and he hit this, and now he got back. And it's a very good back. And there's other way to really go. It's go here, but most tournament players, grandmasters especially, don't play any bold moves, but they play moves which are very safeguarding and attacking at the same time. So Vidit played a safeguarding move, which is not at all a bad move. Vidit is mostly known for his safeguardingly attacking game. Like Vidit always tries to safeguard himself while attacking the opponent. This is the most specialty of Vidit. But he is not all in aggressive. We don't see openly dominating aggression from Vidit. He goes very strategic domination. So right now we have the pawn push trying to attack this part and this part. If knight is left, if it's going back, then it's gonna hit this, this is gonna hit this, this is gonna hit this. It's gonna be a slightly advantage for white. So he goes back, now it's gonna hit, and now with this is a pawn up. But the board says still a 0.4 advantage. So despite of you being having a pawn up. And the good part is this is in this corner, this is a passer pawn. And if you create enough number of powers associated with this pawn and you just push it forward, this might be unstoppable, who knows. But now what happened? He moved the knight so that to push the bishop away from this spot. So Hikaru, so with it goes back, alright. The idea is if you're gonna pawn push, I'm gonna hit it. If you're gonna hit it, I'm gonna hit it. If you're gonna hit it, I'm gonna hit it. This was an attack, and then Hikaru blunders in the move number 27. Move number 21st was his first little typo blunder, but now he made the realest blunder on the planet, which is taking the pawn with the knight. And the idea was simple, to exchange pieces, and at the same time, if this is not there, this is going to be under attack. But with it spots the black hole. With it might have calculated the position, and with it immediately looking the opportunity pounces on the attack. From here you see all the excellent brilliances from Vidit. Vidit has taken this. Hikaru took this, but Hikaru did not calculate one move. He thought he will be taking this. This might happen, but no, that did not happen. Instead, Vidit has taken this. Now, multiple ways to take this. Number one with this, but then you're going to get fished by this, and then you're gonna hit by this. And then, but what Hikaru did is take it with the knight, and then Vidit has another brilliant move on his side, that is taking this with this. Already he's a pawn up. Now Vidit has a very better position clearly, and the real reason for the better position is because this knight was attacking Hikaru's major squares, which are really associated near the king. So Hikaru goes here. Usually the engine says this is the best move, but Hikaru goes here. So when the Hikaru goes here, Vidit saw the smell and he pounced on it. Vidit goes this. This was the second best move, but moving this was the first best move. But Vidit said, okay, let's go this, and there's no big change in the bar. Now when you see the board, you see that it's clearly a domination for Vidit. He has found this, and now Hikaru, realizing that his knight may be under threat, even if you push some rook on here, try to defend this, you're gonna eat it, he gonna eat it. It might be a good, we never know, because we are not going to that line, but right now Vidit plays f4. Now after Vidit plays f4, we have, this is the best move suggested by the engine, and Vidit plays the ultimate best move. Vidit calculates a very good calculation. Now Vidit is up on the clock, and Vidit is up on the board, and Vidit is up on the position. It's clearly a very good and fascinating, and Hikaru needs to move the queen from this row, but at the same time this pawn was under attack of the rook. And then Hikaru goes back and trying to really save his queen, in a very non-threat way, because if queen is here, it's gonna be eaten by rook. If it is gonna be eaten by this, then it's gonna be eaten by queen. If the queen is going to this block, then it's gonna be eaten by knight, and if this queen is going to be this block, it's gonna be eaten by the queen. And the only good move at this point is he can't go back. When you just look at it, it's gonna eat him by both. He can't go in this row because it's gonna be eaten by rook. He can come here, but he never tried this, or he couldn't have come here, but he came here, and which is a good move. What if this double pawns push? We'll never know. But now Vidit sees the prey and he just chops it off. Now clearly Vidit is a better position, being a super genius, and he has some basic instincts. He understood that, well, I can really win this game. Hikaru, realizing what he has blundered, and tries to cover it up by just pushing this, which is again another blunder, because you see these pawns are not really well guarded. Alright, the queen is here, the rooks are here, but nothing is really guarding this. So queen, looking at the opportunity, Vidit said, okay, you are attacking in the both sides. Let us say you are attacking this with this, or this with this. You start with the rook chop and then you go with the queen chop. But I'm not interested in all this nonsense. I'm just gonna come and launch an attack on this. Then he's gonna say, okay, what if he eats this with this? I will show you the brilliancy coming soon. So with it realizing that, okay, my bad. Actually, Indian, what it suggests. Alright. So Indian suggests, now checkmate is unavoidable, in f2 goes best. Now this is happening, Vidit finds the mating moves, he goes here, and then Hikaru, this is the best move to counter the attack from this. You can check it out, and then you got to have countered, and then if this mode, this was under some attack or trap, but no, Hikaru goes here. And now Vidit finding the very checkmate pattern sequence. This is very clap-worthy game from the Vidit. And then Hikaru realizing that it's gonna be gone. Hikaru makes another move, which is taking this. And now Vidit take another brilliancy, taking it from this. Check. And then, you know, if it is gonna hit, you're gonna check. And if it's gonna, let us say this is the best move suggested by the computer. And then this. And if he's gonna here, and then he's gonna chop off the pawn, and if he's gonna come here, he's gonna check it out, and if he's gonna here, there are multiple ways to move. There's a check incoming, alright, and if this is gone, you can't kill here because this is going to be tragic. But what exactly Indian suggests is you're gonna check, alright, he's gonna move here, and then you're gonna come here. So there is a multiple sequences how the mate can be done. So Vidit is clearly leading, and Hikaru, after a series of moves, let us say that on the, alright, after rook hits this, Hikaru resigns. So Hikaru has resigned almost on 36th move or something on that sort. So guys, this is a very great news for the Indian chess, because I personally want Vidit to win. I'm biased here, because Vidit's age is so big at this point, and I want him to have his chances at this point. But Vidit is losing some of the games which he should have won, which is very concerning to me as a player or as a person who supports him. But let's see how the tournament goes, hoping that Vidit will be on the top in some magical way or something. But let me tell you one thing. I can say even if he wins the tournament at this point, I still feel he's underprepared for the World Championship. Because if this is the preparation he's having on the World Tournament, then World Championship is a very different league together. You should have a lot on the mind and the brain to really win the World Championship. But as of now, this is a very sweet tournament for Indians. All the people joining on the top spots. And the good news is we have a sponsor for Gukesh, the West Bridge or something. These guys have been sponsoring Gukesh for upcoming tournaments. Gukesh comes from a very humble middle class background, and it's very great to know that Indian chess is booming in a very good way. This is Phoenix signing off, and I'm going to cover much more games. Thank you ladies and gentlemen for tuning in. Thank you, and Jai Hind.
I got a piece of my heart that's covered in gold. You know I'm one of a kind, or so I've been told. No matter where we go, I know we're gonna make it. No matter where we go, I know we're not alone. We face it all cause now we know that we can take it. We face it all cause we go big or we go home.